Hi everyone, this is June 11th. Now, this is end of quarter two. We're close to end of quarter two, Q2 of 2022, year 2022. How does it look? I will start with lower time frame. Let's say 1 hour to start with. So definitely it's not looking good on 1 hour. It's going down, making low. Okay, 8 hour is showing that it's trying to bounce off this support. This is like a line where it provided support multiple times. If you look at all this, if I extend this, maybe I should draw a thin rectangle covering this strip. This is like it provided, this particular zone has provided multiple bounces. Look at this one, right? Even including this one, yeah. So this one, this was a little deeper, but more or less the same. And this one, and now again. So this particular strip or zone, support zone, is critical one. I calculated one more, 27745. I think this is going to be the decisive one and last one, in my opinion. It can be here and there, but as I mentioned earlier, I think rather than focusing on support, what is important is the bounce. The bounce, strength of the bounce, and the height of the bounce. So there are three things. Of course, supports will indicate where we can expect some bounce. And then once we get a bounce, then we look for the strength of a bounce. And once we get a bounce, then we look for a height of the bounce. So these are the stages. When an asset is falling, these are the three things we track. So, and support, as you know, I mean, there is no one support where we can say this is it, this is the support. If one support is broken, another support to be tracked, and so on. And support also vary based on time frame you track. When you track on 8 hour, you get one support. Sometime you want on a daily, it's different. On a weekly, it's different. Sometime in a very narrow range bound movement like this, you would find multiple supports. So sometime you have to look for a support zone where it covers some little wider range rather than. And if you look at weekly, then the whole entire thing is a support, actually. Support zone, whole entire thing is a support zone, because we are talking about the whole consolidation if you go on a higher time frame. So point is, the support and support zone varies based on what time frame you check. And sometimes it's so tricky, especially if you look at the prior one. So if you look at this consolidation was in actually descending man. It wasn't horizontal. Typically it's horizontal. Horizontals are 99% of the cases horizontal, or maybe 95% or maximum basically. This was the trickiest one because the consolidation happened at angle, and it was even tougher that way, because you wouldn't know real, because it made new lows. If you look at this one, this is whole entire consolidation actually. This one, and this one is different. It's more horizontal in nature. Right. So this was the top, a leg down, consolidation, a leg down, consolidation, and this is where we stand now. Definitely being here, it's not a pretty sight or level where we can say, but we cannot say it's doomed. We cannot say it's crashed. Right now, the probability wise, of course, the probability of going down is high because it's here, not somewhere like 2 3 days ago. So definitely not in a great position. But since it hasn't broken the support, we cannot say it's dead. The probability changes as in when this location changes. So I would track this, that okay, now this is upper boundary, this is lower boundary. Maybe I can extend up to our support 27745, and now it is near the lower half. About this support, which is 29,300, is still lower, but up. Okay, I would say I'm not trying to find a mid-level geometrically here exactly, but I would be happy if it goes up or breaks about 29,300, this 29,300 level. That much bounce will be good enough for it to indicate that it doesn't want to die, even make new low. So it's not dead for sure. But what we need now is, this is kind of a make or break level. Okay. And the length of this thing is very hard to determine. Um, like here we thought it's gone, but it didn't. Here we thought it's gone, it didn't. Then it went and retest this upper level, not an easy thing. So when it reached to the level where it is near breakout and then retrace all the way, this was also not bad. We identified this level, and then we said this was reattempt. So if you look at the behavior of this Bitcoin, right, even from small scale to larger scale, definitely it is in downtrend from a 1 day point of view. The weekly we'll see later. So at this moment, 1 day or lower, I'm focusing. So 1 day is also not going to show us anything different, but maybe we can track on 1 day. That's all right. Okay. So it's not going to be different. So I think this is what I'm looking for. That this is the, I would not say this is the last one. It can go up because the pattern is now, this is a mid. Let me do one thing. I'll drag this to show you that there's something happening here. And I see a pattern, ugly pattern, where I'm saying this consolidation could shape up in this manner where it will form a right hand side. So let me, so yeah, something like this. Okay. So this overall box is the boundary. Hmm? This is a point of rejection because this gives you clarity. If you try to track the candle wicks, probably it's not the right level. I just explained this for for lower level details, we may say, that the behavior and all. But if we have to zoom out, I think we should zoom out and track this box that I'm drawing here. I mean, I had drawn here. There are three segments now. I see this is left and this is right, middle, and this is right hand side. So what next I see here, or potentially a pattern point of view, is this. Okay, this is a happy scenario I'm talking about. Okay, So we should depict with this green color, bright green, in a happy scenario. Of course, I had to also add a down arrow indicating otherwise, and it's all about this level. Somewhere here. Time. This is not about timing. This is about level 27745. So I would highlight few things that now we have boundary, very clear boundary. I mean, we had already this one. When it went down, it bounced. So this gave us a boundary. The same boundary, upper bound, was a resistance and near. So this, you see the orange line I had, but you can say this zone was important for it to make higher level. So it failed. So this was the first attempt, second level. But and then support point of view, so this was the major drop, then a retest, right? This is second, this is an attempt, like two attempts, and then this is another retest. So the pattern has changed. So this retest is, so it's like this retest is a double retest actually. So that's why I'm putting this whole entire thing in one block, the orange block. Okay, technically speaking, I'm assume that this is one unit. So this is a lower bound, I mean the new low, consolidation, and then whole entire thing is one attempt, then a retest. Okay, so maybe just for visualization point of view, I would draw something like this. Okay, and something like this indicating consolidation, and center this and this. I'll drop to this. I should take some different color, thicker one. Okay, I hope this is getting, this is clear. So this is, I took this. Oops. So this is low, this is consolidation, this is attempt to break above, failed, retest, and this is potentially upside move and make new high. Okay, so this is one pattern that we should track. And of course, if 27745 is broken, then the pattern breaks. Okay, see, the one exceptional scenario is it make a quick move and then goes up, which we'll see. Important thing is the closing, not the intraday. So remember, so sometime it takes it takes the stop and move up. It happens sometime, but I would say normally um, you cannot have a you cannot have stop each and every place. So you have to, I think, keep this level. In worst case, if it goes down and quickly moves up intraday level, then I think there's no other option but to re-enter, in my opinion. Yeah, in just in case if that happens. At this moment, it's just a case I'm talking about. I would say 27745 becomes the critical level for this pattern to be valid. And this is my, I think this is expanded pattern, because this pattern didn't work out because it has retraced. Now the pattern has been expanded. So because if you're following this and this, you will not be able to visualize unless you think that this is whole entire consolidation zone, where this is left hand side, this is an attempt, and then this is a retest, and then now ultimate bounce. So this is how we have to think. Okay. So the pattern has changed and expanded. So I wanted to highlight this and share with you. At this moment, technically speaking, there is nothing more that I can explain, but to go on a higher time frame, which we typically weekly hasn't changed that way, but we'll have a quick look on timestamp on weekly. Okay. So there's nothing more to add compared to last week. Only thing is what we are seeing here is there were two attempts. Last week's attempt failed. This week attempts failed to break above this MS1, which is now resistance. Support became resistance. And the same time, what we are saying is this this is not broken yet. This is not broken yet. Let me make sure it's a straight line. It's tilted. Right. So right now it's on June 21st, last year's level low. And this is a range. We have to see the week closing, not touching and all. So tomorrow, Sunday, we would like it to be above this sign line. If it can, that means we get one more week to track, right? So of course, so it survived here. You see, this is just intra-week move, as I mentioned on the daily, right? This is not real closing. The real closing is here, right? So this is not broken, technically speaking. It's called penetration crossover, but not really broken. Then come next week, broke this support was broken, but not this rectangular pattern that we're tracking. This weekly rectangular pattern has upper bound this one and a lower bound this one. Remember, the whole entire thing is consolidation, right? The whole entire, you have to think from a box point of view. This whole entire thing is single box. This is consolidation zone. Okay, so that hasn't broken. That hasn't been broken. So this is a rectangular pattern, and it is continuous pattern, but we'll have to see if it continues this time. Right. So come third week, touched, not broken. Come fourth week, good attempt here, but not able to break above. See, this is also crossover, not really settled. So this is kind of a neutral. Yeah, green, but I would not go by color in this case. More or less, these are the same thing, because even though this is green, this is 80% loss. So it's as good as red, I would say. But okay, we'll go by the color for now. But I would say this is an attempt, failed attempt. This is another attempt and touches. So bottom line is it is playing or trying to consolidate in this zone between MS1 and this line at this moment. So my only expectation is come tomorrow, weekends, it should not settle below this. That would not be good. I would, if it's okay if it settles here, because then it will buy one more week for me from tracking point of view. That means we can say this week it is still in this zone and not broken. So that's my least expectation, that it doesn't settle down below this level. Okay, we can lower this one as well and cover up to this, actually speaking, up to this one, which is totally fine. But it's okay. This one or this one, it's just a narrow range. Maybe I can add a strip. This is better because then it will cover both this one and this one. This one. So this is more appropriate. Okay. So as I said, weekly. Okay, now if it starts bouncing, this is definitely a first resistance to be broken above. And then this is the second one, which I'm expecting it to hit, which is depends when it hits. It could be 37, 38 kind of a range, right? Because in that case, it will take this kind of a U-turn. I would just keep it like this. So it depends, maybe 37, 38, looking at the geometry or symmetry. Hmm. So, in fact, very similar thing if you look at this one. And what if I'm just extending my idea? Okay, if you are, this is just some more TA stuff. I'm just expanding. What if this is inverted head and shoulder? Hmm? Why not? So I'm expanding my idea here. But I'll make a dotted line indicating this is something far-fetched, and I would use yellow color indicating we are not sure at this moment. Okay, this is, let's say, high. This is a probable path, but we are not sure about this. So I would expand my idea like this and say, okay, this could be a little higher. Maybe I'll also bump up this one and touch this. Let's say retest this. Okay. I would extend this even further and then expand idea even further and do something like this. I would, and then we could think of something like this and expand this further and say, okay, it'll touch that. You see, this is something going on a macro time frame in my mind. I wanted to share with you. Now, if everything depends on this level, by the way, okay, so we are expanding the idea here, the bull case. So we are going to keep these drawings, but then we are saying if this is broken, of course, then it will go deeper and probably even more deeper. It could go really deep. 20, this is just I think I have not shared yet, but there's this potentially 18K, 17K or 14K, more like deeper, because this is a huge consolidation. If this is broken, it is likely to be catastrophic. I have extreme level as well, but as you know, I don't talk a lot. I may refer, but I don't believe. So I'm at this moment, this is the bull case where we would like to see, first of all, the first requirement is doesn't break this level. Come next week, it tries to go back to this major support level, right? 31K and above. If it can settle above, then we can say, okay, now 30, then maybe there would be interim, but ultimately 37, 38 is going to be the next big one. So 31, 32, and then 37, 38K is the next level. So this is a so this is a positive scenario or bull scenario. And if this is broken, then I think we'll see. I mean, then it's likely to free fall or go down very quickly and deeper. And I have levels calculated and I'll share, but at this moment, I think I'll just say, okay, maybe this has to be revised, maybe 17, 18K. Then we'll have to see. Right. So this is how it looks like. Of course, this is to be extended all the way. So if you look at it, this is left hand shoulder, head, right hand shoulder, of course, inverted pattern, inverted head and shoulder, and then with some consolidation, a new high, something like this. I would stop find the pattern here because this pattern ends here. So as a TA, you can think of very different kind of patterns. Very like there are tons of patterns. TA has to decide what pattern to follow, what level to follow, because each pattern has a boundary condition, right? Like if you think about human body, your face has a boundary, means after below your um, you know below your head another body part we call, so we say that the pattern of face is over, or the face part is over when you go below, and some so each pattern has boundary. If the boundary is broken in a positive or negative way, we can say that pattern is complete or incomplete. So sometime pattern complete. So if the pattern, if it follows and touches this, then inverted shoulder completes. So there are two ways to two ways of completion. One is it completes in a fully yeah, it completes fully or partially. Partially means you think that this might happen, but then it breaks, and then and the break the failure point could be this, failure point could be this, and failure point could be this, just to let you know. So it comes up, creates half head and a full head maybe, but then comes this, it could go down. So these are the checkpoint. So when you track a pattern, you can say, okay, this is my shoulder, fine, this is my head, but this is like tip of the head, so this is my checkpoint, then this is positive, and then it breaks about, okay, this is amazing, comes down, this is my checkpoint. So you see these are the different checkpoints. So if it goes up, then pattern also changes, but if it follows, otherwise it will follow. So what we have to do as a TA is, as and when it moves, we have to say, okay, what pattern is following, and the patterns are different at different time frame. What you see on weekly you don't see on daily, and vice versa, and different. So different time frame, you have to say that there could be different time patterns that we have to follow being a TA. Okay, so on weekly I think we can follow this. There can be many. So the big pattern is rectangular pattern. Okay, I'm just summarizing now. The big pattern is rectangular pattern. This is upper bound, this is lower bound. Within that, you see this touch, tried, failed, then try to go up, fail, and this becomes, the orange line becomes a trend line within this pattern. It failed, touched this lower bound, but it's not dead because it's still hanging there. So this is where we stand now, and then this is a bullish pattern, which I already talked about, right? And if this fails, the whole entire pattern fails. Of course, not only just head and shoulder fails, but also the rectangular pattern fails. So the rectangular pattern is a parent one. Inverted head and shoulder is a child pattern, right? Even within the weekly time frame. And of course, when you go on daily, then we have to, this is so messy, right? Because it has to be tracked on daily like this. Then you get clarity. So we kind of break the pattern on a weekly into daily, and this is what we are tracking, that okay, now this is low consolidation zone on the left hand side at an attempt. There were two, but we are we are saying it's just one, and then a retest, and then potentially a rise. And here 27745 is the boundary on a daily way. So this is my summary. I hope you like it. I hope you get some clarity. So on daily, this is support. Weekly, we saw the support. You refer this video, right? Things are, because price is here, the things are not rosy, but it's not dead for the reasons I mentioned. So you track on daily, you track on weekly, because the support, as I said, on daily is different and weekly is always different. So being a A trader, as I always say, you have to decide whether you are trading on daily time frame, weekly time frame, or whatever other time frame. You cannot mix up. This is something I teach when I have chance. So you cannot mix up. You have to. You can have two different portfolio. You can account, but you cannot mix up on a single trade. So if you have entry on a one time frame, you have to follow the exit on the same time frame. You can go higher, you cannot go lower. Okay, when on the rise. Anyways, so these are a few things. I believe that I covered everything in detail. You know key levels, you know uh, the key support level, you know the upper boundary where it breaks out, you know the key resistance. So I believe that you have all the knowledge that is needed. And I wanted to expand my weekly pattern that I just explained. Um, so I'm sure everybody understood, and the video is going to be available, so you can always refer. Some of you just joined now. That's all right. We are recording anyway, so you can refer later. Now, I think we don't need to go through alts, in my opinion, because they are red and they are like puppets at this moment. Mm, the strength of different coin would be different, but it doesn't matter now. In this week, I think I'll skip alts because if the BTC goes up, and then they'll go up. But if you have, I mean, I'll stop the recording here. But after recording, you can ask me a question on any coin you want. I can explain. But it's like you will see weakness in each and every coin at this moment, as far as active list is concerned. And yeah, so what we need to focus is BTC, in my opinion. If the BTC recovers, all these coins will recover quickly. Right. So with that note, I am ending this recording session and then continue with this with the Q&A or anything else. Okay, I hope you get the clarity. Very important next week, FOMC meeting coming next week, 2 days of meeting, middle of the week. So I think that is also going to give clarity. The whole entire thing, what we saw is higher CPI, inflation number, and what Fed is going to do is also going to drive it. So there are so many. I think the whole entire, not just crypto, beyond crypto, capital market is also waiting for that meeting. So we'll have a lot of. At this moment, I would simply say that we track key levels and try to be conservative and not try to be ambitious or aggressive, because we need clarity. And once we have clarity, we can always do what we want to do. Yeah, so that's what I would say. I won't and since it hasn't broken the support, there's no need to think of bearish case. I would still think of a bullish case at this moment. So you may say that if I had to take side, I'm still taking side on the bull side at this moment. Okay, just to clarify in case it was not clear. But that is conditional, and that is conditional based on the support level that I mentioned. So I'm bullish but conditional. Okay, thanks everyone.